communist government under Justin Trudeau, who's not the prime minister anymore, but that doesn't change his song. And everyone buys it on the right. Like, he's done a whole tour of right-wing podcasts and shows where they just sit there and like, oh my God, I can't believe the Canada's censoring your speech. And it's like, no, he's just getting delicensed, aka he still gets to say he's a doctor. No one takes his doctorate away. He's not losing his doctorate, so he still gets to be Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, and he doesn't lose his clients because he has none, so nothing happens there. Again, the bar is so low here. The stakes are almost non-existent. Jordan Peterson has written and released a new article about his life and the fact that he has to be re-educated. If you haven't been following the Jordan Peterson saga, and oh boy, it's an exciting one, he basically wanted to have the status as a practicing psychologist in Canada, and it turns out that he was doing a lot of fucked up shit behind the scenes and in the scenes, just fucked up shit in general. And so the board was like, well, you don't practice anymore. You have no clients. He doesn't have a client list. He has nobody that he sits down with and talks to them about their feelings. And honestly, the fact that he has rejected the majority of new information that has come out in his own field as dangerous gender ideology and stuff like that, and also telling someone to unalive themselves through social media, as well as just, you know, spreading the strangest, most bizarre conspiracy theories that I think anyone within his status or profession have done, including but not limited to telling the world that apparently there's a secret Chinese communist breeding program where men are being forcibly milked by the CCP in order to breed super soldiers. Yeah, he tweeted that out without a hint of irony, by the way. And it turns out that he actually was fooled by a cock-milking fetish porn video that was circulating on the internet, and that was enough for him to look at that video, the cock-milking fetish porn, and then suddenly be like, oh, well, bloody hell, look what they're doing. And so he, yeah, put that out there. So the guy, effectively, the board was like, hey, by the way, we understand this is going to be controversial, but we're going to have to take your license away if, but, or you take a course. I think it's online, but you take a course and you learn how to be a better person. That's basically it. It seems like you spend all day basically making trans kids' lives scarier. That's kind of your whole, you know, ethos right now. Jordan Peterson really likes making trans kids' lives scarier. You seem to be really obsessed with trans people. Maybe just learn to be a better person and don't be so hate-filled, and things can go from there. And of course, he turned it into a massive historic battle about free speech, about him being censored by the evil Chinese communist government under Justin Trudeau, who's not the prime minister anymore, but that doesn't change his song. And everyone buys it on the right. Like, he's done a whole tour of right-wing podcasts and shows where they just sit there and like, oh my God, I can't believe the Canada's censoring your speech. And it's like, no, he's just getting delicensed, aka he still gets to say he's a doctor. No one takes his doctorate away. He's not losing his doctorate, so he still gets to be Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, and he doesn't lose his clients because he has none, so nothing happens there. Again, the bar is so low here. The stakes are almost non-existent. It's not as if this is a massively horrifying event in human history, but it's not changing anything. He's still very upset about it, and so he wrote this article, so I wanted to read it. Don't know if Canadians have interest or patience to submit themselves yet another time to another chapter in the interminable saga of the conflict that I've been embroiled in for what seems like forever with the relatively newly named Ontario College of Psychologists and Behavior Analysts. I know. I'm sick and tired of the whole affair, having moved out of the country no small part in consequence of the prejudice, ideologically motivated shenanigans, false morality, and petty power-mongering of that august body. I ran afoul of the worthies who run the incomprehensible This is the largest national newspaper in Canada, by the way, if you didn't post this. He wrote this. This is him. It is an article that he published, but you got to open it up, and while you're just basically like, we need to go to war with Iran. We need to go to war with Iran. We need to support Israel. We need to go to war with Iran. We need to go to... Oh, Jordan Peterson. What's he got to talk about? I'll summarize the situation as best I can, nonetheless, so that we are all on the same page insofar as it's even possible. I was charged by my professional organization responsible for ensuring the public is properly served by psychologists with something approximating unprofessional conduct for my behavior on social media, particularly on X, when it was still Twitter. Here is a summary of my crimes. And I say crimes because the legal cost of breaking these rules is high, the punishment is severe, loss of my professional license, and the disgrace associated with that
and my lawyers in the courts are almost certain to be involved. I objected to an actress who was subjected to the entirely barbarous and unforgivable, although voluntary.
Had to have that. Why is this your business, you old weirdo? You fucking creepy old man. Just standing there. Jordan, I don't know if you heard, Elliot Page. Elliot Page has this new column. He talks about how happy he is, how much better his life became. You know, he's thriving, honestly. He's so happy.
Oh, let me see that. Oh, what the hell, bloody hell, abs. I have to look at abs. Oh, genital removal surgeries. Removal of her breasts. Advertising the fact proudly to her multitude of fans, many of whom were exactly the kind of star-worshipping and therefore highly influenceable young women, maximally susceptible to the dangerous social contagion that is camouflaged under the evil rubric of gender-affirming care. Since I made that objection, none of the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom has decided that there's a fundamental and inalienable difference between men and women.
Thanks, J.K. Rowling. Using all your wealth, again, to try and promote a political agenda that effectively just makes children's lives scarier. Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, just making kids more afraid to live their lives, and that's your legacy.
Furthermore, the country and many others, including the Netherlands where the horror originated.
If you just didn't know this, apparently gender ideology started in the Netherlands. It's where it was invented, and then it's since been spread around the world.
I've concluded there is little evidence for such care produces anything but terrible harm, and have banned such procedures for minors. In addition, incontrovertible evidence has emerged that the organizations who push for the widespread adoption of such appalling treatment and described it as a moral and scientific necessity were corrupt, unqualified, manipulative, and sadistic ideologues pushing a pathological falsehood.
Just want to make it clear, by the way, it's the same thing that's going on in America, but it's also true in Canada. Every major medical association in the country, within Canada, approves of gender-affirming care. Not only is it a valid form of healthcare, but it actually has positive outcomes that also are something that are highly recommended by a variety of different medical disciplines that, again, I'm no expert. You know, I mean, in this case, neither is Jordan Peterson. So, I mean, we're on the same playing field here. But it's one of those things where all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, I think we should defer to, what is it? The totality of the scientific community on this one, who all believe that this is a valid miraculous and wondrous outcomes. So yeah, that's about as far as you need to go. But Jordan Peterson doesn't want to accept that. Thinks the whole thing is a butchering. And also the weirdest thing about all this is that, like, he has no business. You know, it's kind of like that meme about consent. Who consented? I do. Not me. And then there's Jordan Peterson just popping up in the corner and just being like,
Elliot Page, how dare you? You gave in to the Netherlands ideology of gender. No crime, apparently, on my part, let's say. The wisdom of retrospection. Although, in Canada, a nurse, Amy Ham of BC, recently had her life destroyed. That is, she was sanctioned by a professional college and then fired by her employer for having the temerity to support the world's most famous author, J.K. Rowling, in the latter insistence that trans activists and their idiot movement of narcissists and psychopaths pose a genuine danger to the sanity of women and society. What else was deemed evidence of my guilt? I criticized our dear departed leader, Justin Trudeau, for his progressive idiocy, and through his former staff members of his and the Ottawa City Council for good measure. They all richly deserved their criticism and much more. I had worked diligently for a long time to earn it. I pointed out the world's most famous podcast, that the economic models of doom, that the climate apocalypse mongers have been foisting on the public and demoralizing young people for decades, were a pack of anti-human lies, founded on the shaky climate models, which do not indicate an emergency even by the admission of the modelers themselves, and pointing out that two of the models are hypotheses, not data. That criticism is looking pretty good now, as Germany suffers tremendous economic decline in the consequence of the green idiocy. The UK and the US have abandoned much of the net zero moralizing, even as Canadians shocked by Trump have realized they will languish and perish without the fossil fuels of the bloody deluded Greens have worked so hard to utterly counterproductively to demonize.
Just, it goes on and on and on. you were just being like an aggressively supreme weirdo online. Again, no matter what the grandstanding is, like, oh, I had the bravery and audacity to stand before all of you and tell the truth about how the world actually is not warming up. Well, it is, but like not in the way they say it. I mean, okay, it kind of is in the exact way their models are predicting, but still, society hasn't totally burnt down. It's 2025. I thought it was supposed to be over now. Isn't that what the climate models said? No, not at all. Like every one of the mechanisms that they identified is accelerating rapidly in the way they said it would. It's actually quite miraculous, you know? If you ever wanted to see magic take place, just look at predictive models and the way scientists use them, and they're quite good at the things they do. We should just trust them instead of just questioning the ones we don't like because it's inconvenient, or sometimes maybe, you know, fucks with the bag. I think this is about fucking with the bag. I think there's a lot of people here who are obviously really upset that, like, you know, all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, we might have to change our lifestyle slightly. Sorry, I don't have the voice to finish everything here because, goddamn, this goes on for a long time. But exactly what sort of recalcitrant offender am I? Someone very likely to reoffend in the future. As far as the college is concerned, I rejected their machinations on the grounds that confidentiality they were insisting upon was there to a degree that it existed at all to protect me, not them, and that I was willing to forego the protection entirely, convinced that I was of the absolute corrupt idiocy of the whole endeavor. The proof? I want it all public so the people interested can decide for themselves. He did that already, by the way. He like tweeted out this doc of information that unfortunately doxed a bunch of people who wanted to remain anonymous in their callouts of Jordan, so he had to delete that tweet, but the internet never forgets, and you put it all out there. They knew perfectly well making this truly public would cause no end of scandal, giving the essence of vitality for the initial comments. What else is wild is that none of them wanted this to become worldwide news. None of them wanted you to go on like every single podcast on the right-wing fucking circuit and talk about this all day. It's just like, it's a board of psychologists, which I think is a good thing. Everyone would agree that's probably good if airline pilots have licenses, and then people who are practicing psychology with patients probably need to be approved because they can go completely haywire, like you know, here Jordan Peterson has. So I mean, I think the system's working as is, and the ultimate thing that happens here is one of two choices. He either has to get his re-education, which he clearly does not want to have, or he just doesn't get to practice what he doesn't practice already, because he's not a practicing psychologist. He's a professional celebrity now. The exact quote, and it reflects ever so ironically and comically the blatant stupidity and carelessness of the concept. Work and deed at work here. It is not my professionalism, boys and girls, but my apparent lack thereof that is to be ameliorated. That's a crucial distinction, and the error in telling is my estimation. Words matter, which is why I choose mine carefully, and am willing to make them public. Not only did the college get the intent wrong in their last written missive, but they literally reversed it. A trained psychologist of a certain psychoanalytic bent might regard this as a mere mistake, but it's precisely the kind of Freudian slip that reveals a deeper truth, as slips won't do. This is like the 101 tier stuff that I would do, and I have absolutely no training in this field. Are you serious? Like, what are you going to reference Carl Jung? Or, are you like the four people that people are always like, ah, yes, well, that's actually Freudian. You're only saying that because of the fact that you're sexually attracted to your parents. That's what that means. It is in fact, and so perversely, precisely my professionalism manifested in my willingness, nay duty, to say that I thought the college indeed wishes most devoutly to ameliorate this re-education, which now describes softly as coaching, after we're all friends here, right? Working together on the same aim.
I think not. And up yours. What is really going on here, and why should Canadians care? I am essentially being offered a very particular form of bribe to my professional betters. Dr. Peterson, we have backed down on every demand except two, which no reasonable person would deny us. You will now therefore be subject to a minimal intervention, and if you agree to make the proceedings confidential, all the maddening trouble will just go away.
It's still the original terms. And again, the terms are so childish. It's like, so yeah, you don't actually do this. You don't have an office, a desk. You don't have clients, so you don't need your license. So what's the point? You want your license, you need to stop being such a fucking freak online. I mean, that's basically it. You can write all the essays you want.
And it is precisely the fact that I am unwilling to be silenced to begin with that is my true crime. All protestations by the midget authoritarians to the contrary, nothing has changed, despite the niceness of the most recent offer. Do your worst, you contemptible bastards. But don't be thinking that you will have the advantage of invisibility. It is corruption, not peace, order, good government that thrives in the darkness. We'll see who blinks.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you're probably just going to take the course and then make a big deal about that and then turn it into a course because he has his own online course. It's an uncredited university that you can pay lots and lots of money to attend, but then you don't actually get anything that you can give an employer afterwards who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to give you a job based on your accreditation, because it's going to be like, what is your accreditation? I went to Jordan Peterson's online school and I can call out the wokeness, and I know about gender ideology, and also ivermectin apparently cures every disease. So you want to hire me and put me in your workplace, right? That's what I'm going to be for. Also, his daughters, once again in the media circuit, for just eating nothing but meat. I forgot completely about like Michaela Peterson, but every now and then she just appears to be like, I've eaten only beef, nothing else, beef and salt for 8 years, and now I have a shocking physical and mental impact. And it's all the same things, I had so many problems, joint pain, I had so many medical issues, I tried everything, I tried all of the modern medical science, and then miraculously after discovering the carnivore diet, I just started eating nothing but meat and salt. What I gained in scurvy, I obviously lost in other things, and so it was a benefit to me. And here's the thing, like, you could have such highly specific digestive and medical issues that genuinely, because you were allergic to so many things like broccoli, that eating all meat actually maybe is better for you personally. Who knows? I can't say. I have no idea what's in her heart, and I don't know where her truth lies. And maybe that was the case in which, like, she is one of those rare people who actually benefits from having a lower intake of vitamins and minerals. I'm not entirely sure, but if that's the case, that's fine. You don't have to sell that to every other human on the planet, right? Like that when it comes to people who are like, I had all these problems, but then I found a solution, that could be highly attuned and specified to you and your dietary needs. And maybe for some people, it could be better for them to actually just have nothing but the meat and the salt. For the average person, though, that's just going to make them very sick and shit themselves to death. So, like, I think the idea of selling it and then selling it as some kind of miraculous cure-all, again, it's snake oil. It's the old-fashioned snake oil, but in this form, it comes in a meat tube, and then you get to eat nothing but meat and salt. And she put her father in meat and salt. They tried to put Joe Rogan on it, and Joe Rogan rejected it. Well, his body rejected it. He eventually just like made an Instagram post about like he couldn't stop shitting himself, and then he moved back to eating like a normal person. But yeah, this is the father-daughter combo that are just basically touring the world and transforming young men's minds and turning them into the leaders of tomorrow. So just, all I can say is giddy up when it comes to this stuff.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on